Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit View Time. Today we've got Airfix's latest release. This is the little 1/72 scale Wessex. Now, to say I was excited when I heard about this one would be an understatement. And then it was, oh, it's going to be a 72nd. But I have to say, I still live in firm hopes that we actually will get a really nice tooled 1/48 scale one day. But for now, I am more than happy to take a 1/72 one. I've seen lots of pictures, probably like you guys have online, a lot of the CAD work coming down the line and things like that about this particular kit. And it all looks really, really good. So I thought we'd have a good look through the box and we'll see what we properly got. Okay, so first up, what we got down in here is the Wessex HC2 version. Obviously, there's Air Force versions, there's Navy versions, like a lot of these things as well. Little derivatives between them and all the rest of it. But from a Wessex point of view, this is the first of the sort of the main ones coming through, if you know what I mean, on this one. The hopes, obviously, the next release will be the Wessex in the sort of classic red and, you know, sort of grey scheme, perhaps the Royal Navy one to come down the line. But in the meantime, we've got this one being the sort of the Air Force version of this. Beautiful box art, I have to say, straight off the bat, that is really very, very nice indeed. That looks fantastic on there. So quick run round on the box to say it's not too much because it is the little 72nd kits for this one, but your kit number for this one is 04068. All right, some of your little options that you've got down in there. They say I need me magnifiers on for these, so we'll switch into magnifier mode in there. And so you've got number 2, flying training school as well at Shawbury in 1995. Then obviously we've got one down in there in Uruguay in 2000 as well, and 28 Squadron down in there from Hong Kong. So again, some nice different versions of them down in there like that. All right, so this is a brand new sealed box. You can see I haven't been in here yet as well. All right, so you're seeing this exactly at the same point I do. So spin around on the box and whip the tide off. We've got one bag, all right, with it all down in there, which we'll have a look at in a moment. And we've got our instructions and our decal sheet. So we'll look at those in a moment. All right, the instructions. Airfix's standard sort of pull-out type down in here. All right, I think we just need to drop the camera back just a little bit, and then we'll zoom it back in afterwards. All right, so you can see we've got proper call-outs for it as well. So it's really nice that Airfix is sort of embracing this way to give the modeler, especially the newer modeler, some real tips to go through down in here. So it's talking about obviously removing and sanding. It's not just cut these off, you need to sand them down as well because the sprue attachment points overlap, all right? So to get a really nice fit on those going through. So with that done, you've got the floor section going into the lower sort of fuselage into this one. Then we've got the seats being fitted into it. So the seats going right the way through. We've got the tail bulkhead being fitted down in there as well, and then at the front here we've sort of got the forward bulkhead going right the way through. Depending if you're going to be folding these things up, and it is a choice you have to make, it's a really nice choice, is if to have this thing folded up. So if you're limited on space and you're fed up with helicopters with rotors taking up all the room, this is definitely for you because you can fold this little guy up. If you are obviously going to be opening up these, and again it's talking about removing the sprue attachment points down in there like that. We do know this is different versions coming down the line of this, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of dainty work to do down in here. So we've got a couple of strafes to take off the back down in there. We've got plumbing and various fixtures going down into the interior. As you can see, there's those plumbings when they're in. We've got the clear parts being fitted from the inside out, which is fair enough down in there. And then you've got that sort of lower fuselage flooring system going onto the fuselage half down in there like that. All right, so with that down in place, you've got the forward bulkhead being fitted down in there with the engines. Then we've got the cockpit floor being fitted, instrument panel being fitted down in there as well. Then we've got the rear bulkhead, the seats being fitted, then obviously we've got the seats being fitted to the bulkhead, and then so forth and so on right the way up, making up the actual cockpit area of the aircraft. So next up down in here, we've actually got the main gearbox, if you like, where it's coming up from the engines and then being fitted down in there. So you've got these sort of stays on each side of it right the way through for that sort of main rotor to be hanging off of. On the other side, you're going to be taking off the other bits as well, more windows to be fitted, and then long last, you're going to be putting both halves actually together. So again, both halves coming together with this one. We've got the actual front parts being fitted down on over here on the nose, and on the back, we've got those sort of louver doors, vent systems system, the area above the actual main rotor system being fitted. Talks about the door being fitted, obviously open or closed, whichever way you want to do that one. And then at the front, we've got this sort of engine pack that hangs on the front with this one. So all the lumps and bumps and air scoops being fitted down into those ones. And then you say we've got that front grille cover being fitted down on there as well. And then right the way through, very nice. Exhaust, big old exhaust on the Wessex. So we've got those being fitted down on here, obviously on both sides of those as well. Over onto the other side, we've got a bit more of the piping being fitted down on the outside. So that one's going down in there, as you can see. We've got the steps being fitted down onto the outside. We've got a few lumps and bumps being added down in here. The winch equipment, usual bits and pieces down in there. Again, depending if you're folding the tail or not, depending on which bits to remove and take off and that. So keep an eye on the instructions. They are pretty clear when it talks about them. All right, but just keep an eye on it as you're making your way through. Obviously, if you're doing it with with no break into it, you've got the sleeve system's going to be fitting on here. If you have got it on the hinge, you've got the hinge system being fitted on there as well. Makes you wonder if it's interchangeable, but honestly, once you fix it in one, leave it. All right, main gear legs being fitted down onto there, go onto the sides. We've got the wheels being fitted down onto those, very nice indeed. Instrument panel being fitted, and then we've actually got the clear parts. So some of the parts are going to be fitted down onto the clear parts. The instrument panel fits to the clear parts, so does the overhead panel fits to the clear parts. All right, with those ones done, you can then drop it down into place. Again, side windows for the actual doors for the crew, ingressing in that, you've got those open or closed, and then we've got some aerials being fitted down on the outside, both sides of them, lumps and bumps, unusual things you'll find over helos. All right, so that's very nice so far. Again, time to fit the tail. So obviously if you're going down in the broken position, you can fit that one in right now. Tail rotor system being fitted, and then obviously because of the way it is, it doesn't need to fold up or anything. Those being fitted, and then obviously if you're doing tail out, same situation with those being plugged in. All right, then you've got the decisions to be made on which ones to be using, obviously for the wing fold set, rotary wing fold set being fitted to this one or not. So if you're doing it for the normal rotors, being fitted down in here. If you are doing folded, you're going to be using these ones. So again, you know what you're doing by now, right the way through the build. Then obviously you've got these cleats as well, which hold the actual rotors into position, and then obviously we've got this saddle which then fits on the back, which those will lock into there as well, making it actually very, very nice when it's all folded up. All right, then your marking options. So again, some very nice bits down in there for the different versions. The Uruguay one looks very, very nice as well. So the Uruguayan one from 2000, that might be something a little bit different. All right, and again, we've got the classic sort of Hong Kong from 1978 for the Hong Kong flight down in there as well with 28 Squadron. Again, very, very nice. Have to say the instructions are really good. Clear, concise, easy to follow. I'm not being a fanboy, but actually I really like them. That's very nice indeed. Decals. So again, decals look pretty darn good. Nice, good, clean, sharp. Everything's nice down in there. The instrument panel in 70 seconds ago, I think it's totally acceptable and everything. So yeah, all the markings, beautiful done. Who can remember? Comment down below. Back in the old days when registration wasn't actually an option with Airfix kits because they were always well out, but now beautiful, very, very, very nice as well. And again, right the way down here to the actual tail rotors, we've got the decals going on in there as well. The Armada ones down there for Uruguayan, very nicely done all the way through. So again, very, very nice touches with that. Then we've got our big old bag down in here, so we will just slash our way in. Ooh, that's a funny colour plastic that I wasn't expecting at all. I must admit, I was not expecting that colour. So what we're going to do, we're just going to move the camera just a little bit closer, as I think we can. All right, so if we start with the good bit. All right, so down in here, fuselage halves. Again, it's one of those things. You look at these kits now, and sometimes I have to remind myself it's Airfix, because these are light years from anything that we've seen. Airfix have really, really started to get everything going now. The level of detail and this work down in here is absolutely beautiful in 70-second scale. That is really very, very nice indeed. Really, really good. All right, and again, right the way on the interior, we've got all that interior sort of framework, fabrication work down in there. Very nice indeed. It's clean, crisp, sharp, very, very nice indeed. We've got the grill cover down on here on the front. Looks very nice. That's the post, I think, for the main rotor, and the lumps and bumps around the front. So obviously you've got the 4-part making up the big old intake as well, right the way through. That actually looks very, very nice indeed. I can't see any problems with that. That looks all very, very good. Again, just being careful on the tail wheel, because you don't want to be breaking this off. All right, so make sure you get that cut off and removed and then protected during your build as it goes together. But generally, I have to say that looks very, very nice indeed. I'm going to do these as they come off the sprue. So next up down in here, we got sprue E, which looks very nice. Some of the smaller parts on here, as you can see. And again, all of those look nice. Apart from we do have a break here. A little bit awkward. And again, you saw this as I did coming out of the packet. So a little bit of a break on there. But all these small parts look very, very nice. Some of the aerials. And again, you know, very, very difficult. Things like this, they happen. We'll talk about that a little bit later, I think, in the actual review. I have a few comments on that. All right. Next up over here on sprue C, we've got some of this pipe work running underneath. We've got the wheels. So we've got a little bit of weight on wheels as well. So that's quite nice. I've got those exhausts, 2-part exhausts. The main posts for the gear. This is your pedals over on this side. So we've got a little bit of pedal work, but the instrument panels down in here, they look very, very nice indeed. Very good with those. Instrument panels over here, so we've got 2. We've got one with and one without. So obviously, assuming perhaps you can do a little bit of decal work on that one. All right, seats. We don't have any harnesses on them, but we've got a little bit of cushioning effect in there, which is quite nice. Seat cushions. All right, this is between the seats. So yeah, very nice as well. So piping and bracing work and all the rest of it looks pretty good. We don't have any ejector pins. But again, this is what we're talking about with these overlapping ones. Pretty standard now on most modern kits, the way that they actually do it. But again, when you're doing it, just be careful as you're sanding it. A little bit of over sanding, before you know it, you've got a gap. So just take your time when you're sanding these. All right, so cut them across, sort of, 90 degrees to this, and then sand them down onto that part. Don't try and cut into them, otherwise you might take a little bit too much away. All right, generally very nice indeed. Next up, we've got the rotors. So we have got, obviously, the sort of sag into these ones. All right, so you've got a natural sag on there. You can see how they're hanging down, which is fair enough. And obviously we don't have a sag down on these ones because these are going to be folded. So obviously they'll be stacked. So you're not going to have any flex. Obviously as well, they've got the little braces fitted to all of these as well. So that's pre-done for you. So it's not like you've got just one blade and then you've got to glue it together. So nice touch that we've got both of them down on there. But if you look at the rotor itself, looks pretty nice on both sides. Got some nice with the bolt detail, bits and pieces like that. Then over here with these ones, you've got the clamps around them, just like that. And then again, with them down in there. Camera's struggling because I've got it very close today, but you can see what I mean. Very nice indeed. All right, okay, so back to sprue D. We got some of the bits down in here. So starting over on this side, at the top here we've got the saddle. Obviously that's where all those bits are going to be hanging onto for the rotor. We've actually got the tail, which is one piece. Very nice. We've got the, I call it louver doors. I don't know what the technical term is, but the actual air vents behind the main gearbox. All right, that's the top bit on there. There's your door, so a nice door, and again a couple of tiny, I don't think it is an ejector pin. If it is, it's a very small one. All right, no, but I don't think so. I think that's a detail. Really nice. We've got no on there. This down in here is obviously for your tail brake as well. Looks pretty good. Where you've got at the top here is obviously for the gear, for the where it meshes together for the tail rotor. That looks pretty good. The main rotor head, and the various parts, as you can see them all along here, all looks pretty pretty darn nice, no problem at all. Tail, rotor itself looks very nice indeed. That looks pretty good. Yeah, can't fault any of that. Very nice indeed. Okay, last big sprue. Again, down in here. So we've got the tail, the fuselage halves, the cockpit bits, and all the rest of it. Again, looks really, really good. So we've got the rear cabin seats down in here. Obviously, this is that rear bulkhead down at the tail. And then obviously up here, we've got the cockpit area. It's got that soundproofed quilting going on. I don't think it made a lot of difference in a Wessex, but hey ho. Then you've got the tail. And again, tail beautifully done. Really very, very nice indeed. Then we've got the floor. So we've got some tie down points, usual bits and pieces down in there. Under the fuselage as well, beautifully done. Very, very nice job down in there, right the way through. So again, no problems on there. That's pretty darn good. Okay, so that's all your sprue parts done. Now it's time to have a look at the main clear parts. Okay, that actually all looks good. So front windscreen area and everything, that looks all very, very nice, very sharp, good, clean, crisp detail, totally acceptable for its scale. And then obviously its other windows and points down in there, those bulged side cockpit areas. You can see plenty of detail right the way through all of that. I'm sold. This is an absolute beauty. I have to say that is really very, very nice all the way through. It's not often, and I certainly wouldn't say it with Airfix, but I have to say that's as perfect to a kit I think you're going to find. But where's the other one? I know we've got another one here. But, and it is a small but, I have heard of problems. You know, as I say, at the Flooring Model site and on the forum, some of the guys have got those already, and I've seen pictures and various things. Seem to be the clear parts from what I can tell, but short shots, very much hit and miss on the cockpit. Now, this totally is a kit. To be honest, it came from Hannants. It's nothing to do with Airfix whatsoever. Bought with our own cash, all right, through PM Models. But again, it's one of those ones where we got them in and everything else. Matt sent me one down, so it's totally lottery. As you saw, it's a sealed box. I don't know what was in it. Mine is absolutely fine. But I have heard of some short shots on the plastic parts, mainly on the clear parts. Have been a few problems. I've seen the photos of it as well. That is why this would still have a little bit of a not a problem with it, but you know, a little bit of a just check all your parts really carefully when you get your kit. This kit, I know we got it up on PM Models for £22, is not a lot of money for this level of detail. And again, level of detail wise, this has got to be one of the finest 72nd scale helicopters I've ever seen. And from my point of view, as I sit here, I can't find a fault in it. And built it yet could be awful, but from what I've told by people building it and stuff like that, it goes together really nicely as well. The decals are good, everything's good on it. But I would check your clear parts first, but check all of your sprues to make sure they're all absolutely fine. And I will say it, and I can't say it through personal experience here, but previously I seem to be getting the jinx with all the short shots and problems in every kit that I get from Airfix. Happily to report, this isn't me. For once, I've dodged it, but I know a lot of you will, and it does seem to be that Airfix's quality control is their weak link at the moment. The kits they're producing are absolutely fantastic, no problem whatsoever with anything that they produce. Very, very hard for me to find faults with it, but normally there's short shot problems, there's issues, and I know the disappointment because I've had it myself. Over 10 short shots I've had over the years with Airfix. So I know it when you get it. And I've had everything from half a fuselage to a tail missing once on a Phantom. I had a Nat with no rudder where it was a short shot molded. I've had trouble with clear parts. I feel everyone's pain. I've been there as well. And I've done the same as everybody else. Go back to Airfix. Can I have a spare part and all the rest of it? And I have to wait for it to come through. Have to say, they've always come up trumps for me, and I've always got the part, but that's a kit that it's going. The trouble that you can have with it, and I know some of our members have had with Airfix as well, is that then kits which are currently available, they're not in their catalogue right now, they've got the kit, they've opened it up, and then they've got a short shot. You go to Airfix, they're not making it at the moment. So you're on a waiting list for spare parts to come through, or you have to find another kit and use one as a donor kit, which isn't the ideal by any stretch of the imagination. So from that point, I will say it. This is purely because I know some people have had short shots with it and problems and all the rest of it. Hopefully Airfix are up to the task of getting those clear parts out to you and short shot parts to you, no problem at all. If not, keep hammering at them, keep sending them emails, be a right pain in their bum, and they will get to you eventually. From my point of view though, I have to say this looks like a perfect kit to me. Really looking forward to building this one as well. So I will be building it at some part in the future as well. And I have to say I'm really, really looking forward to it. So anyway, that's Airfix's latest release, the 72nd scale Wessex.